Today we're going to show you what a pretty normal week looks like in Flippity Flipped World. We are going to show you items that we're going to be listing, and I'll be taking some photos. Nathan will be doing some listing. We'll just show you what goes on behind the scenes of getting up items on my eBay store. So we're going to dig through these piles, decide which bins are going to come home with us, and we'll report back on how we do. A lot of wallets, small little clutch, and a whole suitcase full of shoes. And I couldn't do it without you, so we're gonna make these next few weeks count.
Definitely.
We've got this whole big suitcase full of shoes. So I'm gonna start with that. Anything that's ready to go right out of the gate, we're gonna photograph first to give Nathan a head start on his listings. Then I will step away, clean up some more items, photograph, so on, so forth. So we'll see what we can get done.
And by the time we're done, all that will be left in the house is going to be items to clean, things for the garage sale, and so we'll be able to divert our focus to fully listing out of the storage unit and focusing primarily on the garage sale, which both are coming up soon. And then the garage sale, we've already posted one, and there will be some future updates as to what that entails. Let's go ahead now and get started. And that time lapse that you just saw was part of me doing 18 total listings for the day. I think that I'm going to do a few more before I finally get off work. But that means that cumulative so far this week, we've done 60 listings, which is amazing. It's basically 20 a day for a 5-day week.
That was a quick 5 items to photograph. Nathan's currently editing a video, and I'm going to now take some of those needing a little prep items and get them ready to go. Well, you saw me photographing some very highly breakable vintage ceramic and pottery items. I'll tell you why I've wrapped them up. I don't want you to worry. That's not how we would ship them. I simply wanted to wrap them up very carefully, even for storage, while we wait for them to sell, given their value. So the first set of brown with the teal inside is called Heath Ceramics USA. And we'll throw up a couple of comps on the screen just to show you what that could potentially be worth. And the second ones, the yellow one, are Henriot Quimper, if you take out the French accent, Henriot Quimper, France. Those are also vintage. And again, I'll throw up a couple of comps so you can see what those are potentially worth. The difference between the two, the Heath Ceramics have like 100% sell-through rate. So I'll have to adjust the price for some of the chips and damage that you saw me taking pictures of. But they should sell fairly quickly. The ones from France have a less quick sell-through rate, but I think the yellow is a little bit more uncommon, so we'll see. Anyway, just wanted to share that in case you were worried. I'm not going to ship them like that. That's really just for storage. Well, I forgot to turn the camera on when I was doing this last batch of listings, so you've seen some of this. But what you didn't see is some IKEA candle holders, this heart sort of 3D dish. Don't know if we saw this. Vintage ashtray. 2 pairs of vintage pinking shears for sewing. 3 England Bakelite handle dinner knives. This little cutie, little statue. Some plated silver trays. I truthfully don't remember what these are, but I know I looked them up when I bought them, so whatever those are. We've got this instant camera. Can't remember if I showed the mug. This is a very cool, like metal, but the glass is like built right in there. You see, it doesn't come out. So that's kind of cool. And this little metal decorative, I think it's pewter, not sure, tray and an owl. So I think you've seen everything else, but that was me busy not filming myself.
And now I'm gonna butt in to talk about some shoes that we've been working on. These are Do-Win brand, and they are powerlifting or weightlifting shoes. As you can see, we've got a listing together here in the drafts ready to be reviewed. They're a size 8.5, gray and black, and we listed them for 70 bucks. There was a little bit of wear here, just some slight marks and cracks in the leather. So that's why it's not as expensive. They would usually be going for around 90 bucks. The next pair up here are called Bedroom Athletics, and they're kind of loafers, slippers, with a really cool golden design. And we listed them for 30 bucks. They are not particularly expensive, but I found some similar ones, not the same brand. I found some similar ones that were in that sort of range. Now these Danskos are a really cool brand. You can see there's listings for $60 sold and things like that. But unfortunately, ours had a bunch of wear on the heels, and so we had to discount them pretty heavily. These are some Puma men's 8.5 golf driving shoes. The only real problem here is at the closure, there is some wear on the edges. And so that's why we've got them listed for 55 bucks. They usually go for about 65 to 70. And these are some sandals that I'm sure my mom would love if they were in her size. Some Keens, they go for about 30 bucks, so a pretty standard shoe. And what I've found in my listing career that's been very interesting is just how much different items there are of the same category. You know, you get weightlifting shoes or sandals or runners or for golf. There's all kinds. So you never want to be too general when you're looking at shoes, because even though something might look like a really cool shoe, it might not be a very popular one because it's used for, I don't know, some kind of sport or something. But yeah, all that to say, you can get some very good finds, especially in shoes.
We're gonna throw some numbers out at you. In this week that we're recording this video, we listed 70 items. So this is the routine I'm in now, 10 a day. I scheduled them out in advance wherever possible because eBay likes that consistency and has rewarded us with more sales. For those 70 items, according to my fabulous inventory spreadsheet, I spent $267, and we have those items listed on eBay for $3,500. That would leave us with a potential profit of well over $3,000, almost $3,200 to be more precise. Now, you might say, is there just a few hand cherry-picked items that are leading to that profit? Well, I'm going to feature a few. Some you saw in some of the time-lapse photo taking clips, and others you haven't seen. So the first one I'm going to talk about, and we'll put a screenshot up here, is this Heath pottery. This is a set of 4 pieces that I found in an online estate sale. I bought them for between $15 and $16 for all 4 of them. And as you can see up on the screen, I'm listing them for $399 with flaws. The retail price of these 4 pieces from Heath Ceramics today is $825. So I thought, yes, they do have some chips. One actually has a crack, so I guess it would be more of a display piece than something you would actually use in your kitchen. But it's not a piece that's made today, this pouring bowl. So we're gonna see what happens. I, of course, will be open to any kind of reasonable offers, but it has a very high sell-through rate, so that one is an anomaly, a really fab find. The other one that I got from the same estate sale, we'll throw up the screenshot here, is of these puppets. So these are vintage handmade marionette puppets in their original boxes. So not to say unopened, they're not new, but they are original with their boxes. And you can see on the screen, you know, $40, $50, $60 or so each. And I paid $19 for the 3 puppets. So if I can get, could be $100, $150 for them, that's still a great dollar profit. The third item I wanted to just feature is something that I just found this week in my Goodwill Bins thrifting video. And it is this nautical school dinner bell. Well, I'm not sure what kind of bell it actually is, but a wall-mounted solid brass vintage bell. And picked that up. The average price that day was $1.47 at the bins, and we've got it listed for $50. So those are some highlights. And then of course, all the things you saw us photograph, and Nathan was busy in his video clip listing them all. Some things are going for $14.99, $19.99, and then you've got these sort of banger items that are going for, you know, potentially hundreds of dollars. All in all though, if we do our regular 10 listings a day, this is pretty standard stuff with, you know, $50 shoes, $80 shoes, $40 shoes, pretty routine stuff as far as the potential profit that can be made. Recapping today's video, bit of a different one.
Yeah, just kind of a chill vlog, sort of.
Showing you the realities of reseller life. You may be wondering, okay, I just talked about all the great profit, which is 100% true. You may be wondering though, why we're only doing 70 listings in a week? I mean, you did how many in that one challenge?
Yeah, that was a bit of an anomaly. That was a total of 142 that week.
I think you did 102 days, right?
Yeah, it was 50 each day for that listing challenge.
But that took prep. We had items lined up, ready to go, cleaned, you know, de-stickered and all the things, which is not the case now.
Yeah, and now there's a lot more things that might be dirty or things from the storage unit that we have to figure out what to do with. And we're
really just trying to be methodical. Like, we're not setting stuff aside. We've done a lot of that. And that's why I have bins of, quote, projects, like things that need a little bit of cleaning, a little bit of polishing, a little bit of whatever, washing.
Yeah, and in the past, I would kind of just chuck everything that I listed into bins, and that's not exactly efficient for storage, but we're picking up our pace now for sure.
But all the time that Nathan has invested, some when I was on vacation and just in your everyday, getting our inventory organized, let's put it that way, because we said we have over 1,000 items on eBay now. They have to be stored somewhere until they sell. So he's invested a bunch of time getting that more organized and streamlined. And we're also selling. So like anywhere from 1 to 3 items a day. So there's now shipping and packaging that has to be done.
Yeah, there's cleaning, there's taking tags off, there's listing, video editing for me.
For sure. And then I've got sort of the business end of things as well. You know, I've got accounting that has to be done, and, you know, discussions about legal stuff and just business related things, running payroll for a certain employee that I have. And so, you know, it's all still cranking along, but that was probably a long-winded way of saying why we aren't, you know, necessarily listing 50 items in a day, because we're running a sort of holistic business here, and we've got other things that are taking our time as well.
Yeah, schedules don't perfectly line up, but that's sort of what it is to be in a partnership.
So it's very productive still. And I'm quite comfortable, you know, with the pace that we have, the listings that we're doing, the growth of the eBay store, the picking up of sales. It's all falling into place as I trusted it would.
And your eBay store said it was above average for...
Yes. Yep, for my rating. So all positive. So many great things to report. Hope you enjoyed this kind of casual, different type of video. We'll certainly be back at you with more thrifting content, reseller vlog style stuff. So have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.